Level 1. The Zero Friction Parasite. Look at the recycling bin in any middle-class suburban driveway on a Tuesday night. It is an absolute graveyard of impulsive dopamine hits. Mountains of flattened cardboard boxes with curved smile logos stacked next to a crumpled heap of insulated food delivery bags. Now, look inside the house. On a nightstand next to an exhausted human being deep in REM sleep, a $1,200 smartphone lights up the dark room for exactly 3 seconds. A push notification appears. Your monthly subscription of $15.99 has been successfully renewed. 2 hours later, another one. $9.99 charged to your Apple Pay. You do not even wake up. You are literally bleeding capital while unconscious. This is the modern American financial tragedy. It does not happen with a dramatic stock market crash, a catastrophic bankruptcy, or a wildly irresponsible trip to a casino. Your financial ruin is entirely quiet, sterile, and aggressively convenient. It has been gamified, optimized, and packaged as a basic human right. You are being bled dry by 1,000 tiny automated cuts. The financial media wants you to believe you cannot build wealth because of inflation, housing markets, or the economy. While those are heavy headwinds, they are not why your account feels like a leaky bucket. The brutal reality is that you have outsourced your discipline to algorithms designed to remove all friction from the act of spending money. You have traded your future financial sovereignty for the temporary relief of a hot meal delivered to your doorstep at a massive markup. Consider the sheer mathematical absurdity of your current existence. You are likely earning a higher gross income than your grandfather ever did. You have access to the most sophisticated financial tools in human history. Yet, a blown transmission on your car or an unexpected $2,000 medical bill would send you spiraling into a panic attack and high-interest debt. This brings us to the ultimate, terrifying question you need to confront today. What is the invisible mechanism that makes you generate more money today than any previous generation in your family, but remain just one mishap away from absolute financial collapse? The answer lies in the dark psychology of convenience. The system has carefully observed you. It knows that after a 9-hour shift of dealing with corporate bureaucracy, commuting through gridlocked traffic, and managing the baseline stress of existing in the modern world, your willpower is completely depleted. You do not have the cognitive bandwidth to say no, so the system offers you a deal. It whispers that you deserve a little treat. It tells you that a $7 coffee, a $20 streaming bundle, and a $40 takeout order are not luxuries. They are the essential survival tools you need just to feel normal. They have weaponized your exhaustion. By eliminating the physical pain of handing over paper cash, by storing your credit card information in every app, and by turning checkout into a single double click of a side button, they have bypassed your logical brain entirely. You no longer buy things. You subscribe to a lifestyle of permanent drainage. The money leaves your account before you even have a chance to feel its absence. Let's talk about Tyler. Tyler is 34, works in mid-level logistics, and makes $82,000 a year. By every historical metric, he is thriving. But inside his actual reality, he is drowning in a perfectly calibrated aquarium. His alarm goes off at 6 in the morning. For the next 10 hours, his brain is forced to make hundreds of high-stakes micro-decisions for a corporation that views him as a completely replaceable metric. By the time he navigates the 70-minute gridlock back to his suburban driveway, his cognitive battery is utterly depleted. He doesn't want luxury. He wants relief. This is where the invisible predator strikes. The zero-friction convenience industry doesn't sell food, streaming, or rides. It sells temporary anesthetic. They have engineered a massive parallel economy designed exclusively to harvest the remaining capital of the deeply fatigued. Modern convenience is not a reward for hard work. It is a behavioral tax levied on those too mentally broken to resist. The moment you believe you are treating yourself, you are actually paying a premium just to tolerate a routine you desperately want to escape. Tyler walks through his front door. The simple thought of chopping vegetables and boiling water feels like an insurmountable physical mountain. He collapses on the couch and opens an app. The interface is entirely frictionless. No typing in credit card numbers. No signing receipts. Just a biometric scan of his exhausted face, and $38 vanishes into the ether. He just traded an hour of his finite life on the corporate wheel for 20 minutes of lukewarm sodium, delivered in a paper bag. The cheese isn't a reward. The cheese is the exact mechanism keeping the laborer entirely dependent on the maize. This isolated event is accompanied by the constant silent hum of background subscriptions, the 3 separate streaming platforms he pays for but only watches while falling asleep. The premium cloud storage for data he never looks at. The auto-replenish boxes piling up in his hallway. The system has successfully disconnected the physical pain of paying from the act of consuming. It is a psychological masterpiece. They realize that if they could bypass your logical brain and tap directly into your daily exhaustion, you would hand over your financial sovereignty without making a single sound. Level 2, the exhaustion tax trap. Look at the infrastructure of this trap. The architects of this environment employ armies of behavioral psychologists to eliminate the hesitation between your impulse and your bank account. They weaponize the sunk cost fallacy through your premium delivery memberships. You pay an annual fee for free shipping, which mentally forces you to order overpriced takeout twice as often just to feel like you are getting your money's worth. It is absolute madness masquerading as financial optimization. You are no longer a participant in the economy. You are functioning as a high-income conduit. The money flows from your employer, passes through your smartphone, and gets siphoned straight into the market caps of tech conglomerates. Tyler wakes up on the first of the month, checks his banking app, and feels a hollow, crushing anxiety. He makes way too much money to be this fundamentally broke. He blames his own discipline, entirely unaware he is fighting a multi-billion-dollar algorithmic war with both hands tied. And the moment he tries to calculate the actual damage, the math reveals a reality so terrifying, most people simply shut the screen and refuse to look. Level 3, the compounding black hole. To understand the true scale of this destruction, we must finally answer the question posed earlier. What is the invisible mechanism keeping you permanently chained to the edge of financial collapse, despite your historically high income? The answer is the frictionless exploitation of fatigue, combined with a systemic ignorance of opportunity cost. The mechanism drains you not by stealing your current dollar, but by quietly assassinating your future capital before it ever has the chance to multiply. Let us apply a brutal, unforgiving mathematical lens to Tyler's daily existence. The human brain is notoriously terrible at understanding exponential growth, which is exactly why the convenience industry thrives on microtransactions. When Tyler drops $30 on a Tuesday night food delivery because he is too tired to boil water, his brain registers a simple $30 loss. He rationalizes it. He makes $82,000 a year. $30 is a rounding error, but that is a fatal miscalculation. That $30 was never just $30. To see reality, you must run those daily leaks through the timeline of a human working life. Assume Tyler's daily conveniences, the premium morning coffee, the phantom digital subscriptions, the weeknight app deliveries, average out to exactly $30 a day. That is roughly $900 a month. In the context of a modern American lifestyle, that feels like the standard cost of merely existing. Now let us introduce the most powerful force in finance. If Tyler were to weaponize that exact same $900 a month, deploying it into a basic S&P 500 index fund averaging an 8% annual return, the math becomes physically uncomfortable to observe. Over the span of 30 years, a standard career trajectory, that daily $30 leak does not just represent the $10,950 he spent that year. At the end of 3 decades, the daily tax on his exhaustion would have compounded into approximately $1,341,000, over $1.3 million. Gone, evaporated, traded for lukewarm fries, digital media he never watched, and the fleeting illusion of comfort. This is the compounding black hole. Every time you tap your phone to bypass temporary friction, you are not paying with your current salary. You are paying with your future freedom. You are actively funding the expansion of massive tech monopolies using the exact capital that was supposed to buy your permanent escape from the corporate grind. The system encourages you to focus on agonizing over 50-cent price differences at the grocery store, while it installs a high-pressure siphon directly into your checking account through frictionless digital infrastructure. They have convinced you that wealth requires massive, lucky windfalls, all while quietly stealing the microscopic, daily bricks you need to build your own fortress. You are bleeding out from 1,000 invisible, algorithmic cuts when you realize your daily exhaustion is costing you a 7-figure retirement. The psychological shift is violent. You stop seeing a delivery fee as a small surcharge and start seeing it as a literal theft of your future time. The invisible mechanism only works in the dark. Once you illuminate the opportunity cost, the spell begins to break. Level 4, the stolen decades equation. You now see the math. The $1.3 million evaporated over 30 years is not just a number on a spreadsheet. It is a measurement of human life. It is the literal calculation of your stolen decades. When you bleed capital at a rate of $900 a month for artificial convenience, you are extending your mandatory sentence in the corporate panopticon by 10, 15, or even 20 years. You are trading the physical mobility of your 50s and the absolute freedom of your 60s for the ability to press a biometric button and have a lukewarm meal left on your welcome mat today. This realization should induce a profound, visceral sickness. Good. That sickness is the necessary catalyst for the final transition. You cannot out-earn a system fundamentally designed to extract your wealth at the subconscious level. You must completely short-circuit the mechanism. Level 5, the intentional disconnect. The rebellion does not start with a complex trading algorithm or a risky real estate venture. The rebellion begins with the radical, hostile reintroduction of friction into your daily existence. You must actively break the seamless integration between your exhaustion and your bank account. Cancel the premium delivery memberships. Delete the biometric payment authorizations from your smartphone. Remove the saved credit card data from every single browser and application. If you want to purchase a digital luxury or order takeout, force yourself to stand up, walk to another room, physically retrieve your wallet, and type in the 16-digit number. You will be astounded by how often the sheer exhaustion that drove the impulse is outmatched by the physical effort required to execute the transaction. This is not about punishing yourself. It is about waking up, By introducing intentional friction, you force your brain to switch from the passive, limbic system of automated relief to the active, prefrontal cortex of executive decision-making. You reclaim the moment of choice. When you stop outsourcing your life to the convenience industry, you will experience withdrawals. The first time you force yourself to batch cook meals on a Sunday afternoon, you will feel a deep, conditioned resentment. You will feel like you are moving backward. But understand this, that physical friction is the literal sensation of taking your time back from the machine. You are no longer bleeding out in the dark. Level 6. The ghost architecture. Once the bleeding stops, the real work begins. The capital that was previously siphoned into the ether must be immediately redirected. You do not leave the recovered $900 a month sitting in a checking account, waiting to be eaten by inflation or a momentary weakness. You build ghost architecture. Ghost architecture is the silent, automated infrastructure of wealth accumulation. You take the exact same zero-friction mechanisms the corporate giants use to drain you, and you reverse the polarity. You set up aggressive, automated transfers that pull your money into broad index funds the absolute second your paycheck clears. You automate your own financial defense before the exhaustion of the work week even has a chance to set in. You disappear from the modern consumer class. You learn to find genuine psychological peace in a growing net worth rather than the fleeting dopamine spike of an unwrapped cardboard box. You become a financial ghost. To the outside world, you will look remarkably boring. You will not participate in the endless cycle of micro-luxuries. But underneath the surface, you will be constructing an impenetrable fortress of compounding capital. You will no longer function as a high-income conduit for the system. You will be buying back the ultimate, rarest luxury on earth, your own autonomy. The system wants you exhausted, comfortable, and permanently broke. Choose friction. Choose freedom.